Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another 90s horror films. This is going to be January of 2022. So, Happy New Year. We are in the new year and we are really excited. This is going to be a lot of fun. So, first of all, I'm here with my buddy who I haven't seen you in person since like your high school years, I guess, or whatever, like your
Yeah,
senior
no,
year of high
which we're not
school.
going to talk about how long ago that was.
Yes, let's keep that private. Um, but yeah, we haven't seen each other for a little bit. And please welcome Matt Sternberg. How you doing, Matt?
Hey guys.
So I had asked like a group of people, I put out on Facebook like who wants to do 90s horror podcast and whatnot, and you were one of the many people who signed up, which I was not expecting. I actually expected like more would be wanting to do 80s horror films than 90s. But we got 90s horror films. I got Matt was one of them, and I gave him a list of a bunch, and he picked this one. So let's bring it over to Matt and tell us a little bit why you chose this one and what about your love of 90s horror.
Yeah, so 90s, I mean, I can see why people would want to, do 80s horror films because, it is like it's the golden age of slashers, it's the golden age of like a lot of like horror films, but the reason I love 90s horror films is because they were so kind of crazy and like a hokey sort of way, but it was also very serious and a lot of them were like super well done. Also, it was just like the time when it's like we were growing up. So it's like a lot of these like hold a lot of nostalgia for me. And I think it was funny, a mutual friend of ours, Robbie Smoko, this movie we used to rent on VHS and we used to watch it a lot with a couple other movies like there was let's see, like Parents I think was one of them, and this movie kind
Parents,
of,
oh
yeah.
man. Well, that was
So
80s, I think, though. But
that's 80, so that's a way, but like we used to rent a lot of them, but like People Under the Stairs was like one of our like all-time favorites, and I think a lot of people forget that this was actually done by Wes Craven. um but
it's not his signature type of movie, I guess, or whatever. But if you look at like Nightmare on Elm Street and you look at a few of his ones that Shocker, and a few ones that he's written himself or whatever, like you could definitely tell it's a Wes Craven project.
True. That is very
Yeah.
true. Yeah, it does kind of have his like signature style, and um I don't know. I think the characters are just so out there in this one, and the vibe, and there's like a lot of like under or like issues that are brought up, like, domestic abuse is like one of them, gentrification. Like Craven was also one of these people that never stirred away from a lot of those issues, but they're done in like a satirical way kind of, but it still kind of holds up today though, like as I was rewatching it. um you know um
Absolutely.
but
I think it actually, honestly, it holds up more now with everything that's going on. Like,
agreed.
I'm just afraid like Jordan Peele would want to remake it or whatever, and it would just become about the political side of it and not the
Right.
funness of it. Because I feel in a way I'm of the minority on this, by the way, because I know so many people in the horror business love industry loved the new Candyman. But I felt like we lost the point of Candyman by putting too much political stuff into it. I understand like politics go hand in hand with horror,
Sure.
and this was
And
a
I get that too.
you know
I
this
can understand
this had a lot of political like undertones to it, especially with the I mean, that's kind of interesting that People on the Stairs was 91 and Candyman was 92, because I guess they both kind of dealt with uh poor urban people dealing with gentrification and other you know, issues that plague the society at the time. And but Candyman is a fun horror film, and people understand it as like a batshit crazy fucking movie. You
Oh
know?
yeah, it is. It's absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Um, I think what my favorite part about this horror film was probably Roach, who's played by Sean Whalen. He's the one that has his tongue cut off, and he's kind of like crawling through the walls. He's the person under the stairs that like got out, basically. So I don't know. He's been in a lot of other stuff, but he's basically like kind of
Hmm.
my favorite part of the movie. And
Roach.
yeah, Roach. I will be dressing up as him for Halloween one year. I just haven't gotten around to it. you know.
No, he's I've met him actually. He's really sweet.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, he
Awesome.
goes to horror conventions all the time, and he's just super nice, you know. And I'm friends with him on Facebook and whatnot. But he's one of those guys that, like, it's funny how he's in so many movies, you
So
know.
many.
And
Yeah.
and it's funny, he's most recognized for Roach because Roach is such a fun character, and he must have had a blast to play that role. But he's been in so many things. Like, he'll pop up in these movies and I'll be like, wait, was that Sean Whalen? Like, for like 2 seconds, you know?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I love it.
He does. He was also in Twister. That's another one I love him from, but that's like not horror related. But like, yeah, he's
No,
just been in everything. Everything, I feel,
yeah,
He, yeah.
he had a real career. You know, he still has a real career. I'm not
Yeah, he's still
like,
working. Yeah, for
yeah, he's
sure.
constantly working, and it's great. I love to see that. Um, but all right, let's go into the story of this crazy movie. So, like, it basically, these people are being evicted from their apartment, and we find out that Fool, you know, which I think is ironic for his name because he's a pretty smart fucking kid.
Oh, for
Um,
sure.
who I also met him. I met Brandon Quinton Adams, who is not. I may be a horror guy, but I grew up with like Sandlot and Mighty Ducks and other
Mm-hmm.
stuff, and things like that. And Sandlot, that was just one of my favorite movies growing up. So
Oh, it's a great film. I love it too.
yeah, he's such a nice guy. And so he was Fool, and he ends up basically going to uh to this house to rob him because that's what his sister's friend, I don't know if it was boyfriend or just friend.
I think just friend, but it's kind of alluded at that they might have something more going on. But yeah, friend, we can say friend.
Yeah, let's say friend because that's what he calls him. He said, I'm a friend of Ruby's.
Yeah.
I didn't think I wasn't sure. But there was that one scene where they were was Ruby and him are talking. And what was his character's name? I want to say it wasn't like Luther or something. It was um I know
Um,
the actors Ving Rhames
Ving
and
Rhames, which yeah, I forgot he popped up in this movie. Always love him. Leroy. That was it.
Leroy. That's
Yeah.
right. I gotta have this on IMDb on me so I can remember everybody's name.
Right.
Um, but yeah, so they want to rob basically, I think it was the landlord, right? You know?
Yeah, they are the last tenants in a building that the landlord wants to knock down and basically gentrify. Um, yeah, so they devise a plan to and also uh his mom, Fool's mom, is sick as well. So, and they want to go rob the landlord to, you know, basically pay off the back rent, I guess, that they owe, and also help Fool's mom get well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, so they end up going to help them out and go up to the to rob these people who are just, everybody knows they're crazy, like the
Yeah.
like and it's so strange. Like the cops should know, more than they do apparently with these people, but they like, I guess they don't want to mess with them because they're rich and they don't, like they're the rich people in town. They don't want to like fuck with them or something, too much.
Yeah.
But I mean, there was a lot of stuff that happened in that in the movie period to go. So they go to rob the place. I love that he sets up with coming over with fools dressed up like a Cub Scout.
Cub
I think
Scout, yeah.
they keep calling them Bear Scouts.
Bear Scouts, yeah.
I wonder if that was because like Cub Scouts wasn't allowed.
Probably. I would say copyright issues because, yeah.
Yeah. So it's Cub Scouts basically, and he's asking to help, or whatever. Can you help me with this? And can you buy one of our or some of our cookies? And the lady ain't having it because she does not want she doesn't want him in the house, and seeing
No,
all the
she
what?
doesn't. I love the line that she gives him too. She's like, "We watch what we eat around here," and I'm like, this lady clearly has body dysmorphia, which comes into play later on in the movie with her daughter. But like, I just love that line, and she's like, "Bye," and then leaves. Like,
Yeah, no, that's true.
yeah.
And she's like, so she's like, we watch what we eat, and then he's like, can I use your bathroom then, ma'am? I really gotta go. Which it was awkward that he was like looking at the water at the time, when she comes
Yeah.
out. Like, I understand that's like set up for us to understand like later it's gonna come into play,
Right.
but like when I first saw it, I was like, what is he doing? Like he looked like he was literally gonna like take a leak in the thing or something. I don't know what he was planning to do, but
Take a swim. I have no idea. Yeah.
yeah. So she says, basically, I'm, go away, or I'm not going to help you out. So he goes back, and Jeremy Roberts is one of the guys. I love him. He's been in a lot of stuff as well, and he's like, no, I'm going to go in there. So he gets in there by pretending to be a gas guy, goes into the house, and
Yeah.
he looks around for a while, but they can't, he doesn't come out. Goes in, doesn't come out.
Right.
And we find out later I guess he got scared to death, but like I don't know, it was strange. It's a strange scene because like he's laying on the ground and he looks white as a sheet, but his hands all like bloody and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't know what the point of that part was. Like were the people eating his hand or something?
Yeah. The people. That's what I got from that, is that the people were eating his hand. But yeah, how he died, I'm not sure. I guess maybe scared to death. That's like,
That was the thing that they said,
yeah.
um so anyway, the people they finally go to break in to the house and go to get in there, and they run across a dog. Well, I guess before then some other stuff happens. So there's way too much that happens in this movie. Like an hour and 40 minutes, but like it does not spare any like minute at all. Like there's something always going on in this movie.
Yeah, it really doesn't let you breathe at all. Come to think
Yeah.
of it. Yeah, I never really thought of that until just now. You're right. It doesn't really slow down at all.
Yeah. And I mean, I guess that's good because like, especially with today's, attention span or whatever, but it's better, to kind of do that. But anyway, they both kind of get in there, they kind of split up, and was it Leroy goes in there and Fool finds the body, and finds all these people, and he doesn't know what the hell's going on. And that honestly was, for the longest time, I would not watch people under the stairs because of the trailer to it was terrifying as a kid for me. Like I thought this movie would be terrifying. And now that I like when I watched it years later when I was in my 20s, I was like, what was I scared of? This movie is not terrifying at all. Like this funny and fun and like
Oh, for
entertaining.
sure. Yeah, but little things like that scare you when you're a kid. I mean, like, it's like when I used to watch the Michael Jackson Thriller video when he turns into the werewolf, I would like hide behind the couch when I was younger. But then like watching it years later, you're just like, oh, this is just fun. So same thing, I can understand why,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. So yeah, and the people under the stairs, the funny thing is they're not even like the monsters. They're,
No.
there's maybe like one or two scenes where you're like wondering what they are, if they're attacking, if they're like whatever, right? You know, um, so if they're gonna be if they're gonna be the bad people, but the monsters are really the people, the people's house it is. And those two actors, by the way, did you know that they were in Twin Peaks?
Yes, I did, because I love Twin Peaks.
Really?
So I did recognize them after, because I hadn't watched it in a really long time, and I was like, oh my god, I was like, yeah. I was like, mom and dad were both in Twin Peaks. I was like, I did
As
recognize
husband and wife in Twin
as husband
Peaks.
and wife again. That's right. Yeah.
So it's really funny. But God, I absolutely love the woman, because her character in Twin Peaks is one of my favorite characters. If I remember correctly, she was the one who was a little like off the wall, like thought she was back in high school and stuff, and just a little wacky and weird, if I'm correct.
Yes. Yes, that's
Yes.
correct.
And so she was so great in that. And then she's so wonderful in this. Like, I don't really, and I think I just watched her recently in a movie called The Attic Expeditions, but she didn't play a wacky character or anything in that one.
Oh,
Everybody
but
else was.
she's such a good like character actress. I feel like she's very good at like, going 0 to 100 in 2.5 seconds, which she does a lot in this movie, which I'm kind of here for.
Right.
So yeah.
Definitely. So anyway, so uh that stuff's happening, and so the dog, comes after both of them when they get back together. Let's skip ahead to that. And the dog, I absolutely love the dog, Prince, and I was so devastated with the loss of him at one
I
point.
know.
I talk on a lot of my movies, probably, or a lot of my podcasts and everything, that that's one of like that. Killing a dog is like my least favorite thing in the world. Killing a dog or cat or pet, at all, is probably one of my least favorite. Though I will say, sometimes when the dog's coming after you and it's a survival thing,
You got to do what you got to
you
do.
got to
Yeah.
do what you got to do. So I wasn't too upset, but I was still sort of sad. Like, it's like,
Oh,
could we have
yeah.
figured a way to like make Prince live?
Yeah.
Um,
And it's funny, the dog that they got to play Prince, I feel was like there were points where it would show it on film, and I'd be like, that dog is way too sweet. That's not Cujo. Like, I feel like that dog is not menacing enough. You know what I mean?
and
Like,
then he'll do something that is menacing or something,
yeah.
and go after him. But yeah, you're right. That dog was sweet. There's like one point where the man yells like, "Shut the fuck up" to the
Yeah.
dog, and the
Yeah.
dog gives him a look like,
Yeah.
"Oh wait,
So funny.
don't yell at me. I'm doing my job. I'm
Exactly.
trying to protect you." I felt terrible but Prince was so cute. I really loved him. Um,
Yeah.
what was he, like, Rottweiler or something? Or
He's a Rottweiler, yeah, and they they feed him human flesh too, which is
yeah,
like,
I
yeah,
actually learned something today. I was on IMDb looking up trivia, and the woman gave the dog the hand, right? And there was an
yeah.
actual wire, and the dog almost choked on it, you
Oh
know,
shit.
and the woman pulled it out of his mouth, which the director, Wes Craven, and other people were not happy with her doing like that. That was risking her hand getting chomped off, but I think she saved that dog's life by, there's some little wire or something inside from the fake prop hand,
Hey man, I would have done the same thing.
Yeah, I would have been, okay, if it meant saving the dog's life, and losing my hand, I would do it, you know.
Yeah,
I'm very big on animals,
for sure.
so anyway, the next so Prince is going out there. I love the fact that they had an electric door electric doorknob, and so I'm like wondering, like, I guess they don't ever leave. It was almost like Home Alone if you think about it,
Yep.
because they just booby trap their house,
The entire thing. There's like dynamite in places. Yeah, they have the electric door. Like there's just other
trap
things. There's so many,
doors.
yeah, trap doors everywhere, like the whole nine yards.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's weird. It's like this is like a kid's fantasy, not an adult's thing, like kids want electric doorknobs and shit.
Yeah. It just shows how like deranged they were.
Well,
Like
they sort of were like kids in a way. They were brother and sister too. We
exactly.
found that out. They weren't even husband and wife, which to me makes that the grossest.
It's so gross.
It's I don't see, but then again, it never like shows them like having sex or even kissing. It just they're
Yeah.
calling them mom and dad, which I guess
Yeah.
they're supposed to be mom and dad to the kids, that they
Right.
steal, which is actually based on a true story. That
Oh,
because
I didn't know actually.
Wes Craven was but usually that's what he does. Like everything he does is based on something he's read in the news or something. Like even Freddy Krueger was based on somebody in like India or something.
Yeah,
I'm
these kids were dying in their sleep.
yeah,
Basically, they were afraid to go to sleep, and they were like dying like in their dreams. Yeah, that one I know about. I didn't know like it was like actively something that was like on like a lot of or like all of his movies. But
right. So yeah, so this one there was a couple, and I don't think they were brother and sister, and I don't or whatever, but there was a couple that ran like a funeral home, and they would in their funeral home they would actually sneak in, like kidnap kids, and and keep them underneath the cellars and stuff. So that was based on. Isn't that crazy?
sorry, that's some effed up shit.
Yeah. I'm gonna read the exact quote from it about it
Oh my
because
god, please,
it
please.
is nuts. Wes Craven was inspired to write this film after reading a real life news story about burglars breaking into a house. When authorities arrived, the burglars had disappeared, but they discovered locked doors and noises coming from behind. Children had been locked up inside the rooms by their parents, never allowed to go outside. And that was one part. And then there was a little bit more. Okay. I might be a little wrong on that and heard something else. Because there was a Criminal Minds episode about a family that owned a funeral home. It was strange because they did talk about a funeral home too in this. So I think that's really what happened. Um
I'm sure
anyway, so
that's messed up. That's messed.
yeah, like basically if they and that was the interesting thing is like they did not want cops snooping around, you know,
Mm-mm.
and they had to make a reason why when the cops snooped around that they could, they have all these like gadgets and everything and the beauty is they can just say they're rich,
Right.
like they can get away with all of this stuff. They can do all these things because they're rich. They can afford to have dynamite all over the place you
Right.
know, or be able to like lock up all their rooms like with just a push of a button, and everything. It
Right.
was it was insane. I
There's
mean, just rewatching this movie is just nuts.
it is. There's that scene too where they like the cops actually like come and she's like, "Dad, the cops are outside" or whatever, and they go to the van and it just shows like how like rich people can get away with murder basically like and they're like, "Is this your van?" And she's like, "Oh no, it was just here." She's like, "Oh, we checked the house, it's fine." And then basically like the cops just leave.
Right.
Like
That's actually true. That actually, I was wondering about that because they were like, "Oh, this, what is it? This this van was used in a robbery of a liquor store, and the landlord, I believe, owned a liquor store or something.
Yeah,
And
he
so
owned the liquor store. Yeah.
yeah, so he was like, "Oh, a liquor store, huh?" Like he knew that the guy had, I guess, done his liquor store, which I'm wondering why he didn't get a call about that. Then like
That is true.
why wouldn't he have known? But
Yeah.
they were like saying that stuff and like, oh, this thing was used in a, because it would have made more sense if they were like, oh yeah, well, damn, they must have done my liquor store that I own or something, because you know otherwise, like literally the car, the getaway car being at their house and them just saying, oh, the people just ran off,
Right.
that makes
That's not suspects at all.
yeah.
That's not.
I mean, you're right. I think the idea was just to say that the white rich people could get away with murdering people because all they have to do is say, oh, that's not my van, and the cops will go, okay, yep, you're right, this is not your van.
Okay, have a nice day.
Have a nice day. We're gonna leave. We're not even gonna investigate. We're not even gonna look in the van. Nobody looks in the van except them later. I'm like, why would they just leave a suspect's van? They when they tow that van or something, do something with it.
It's
Like,
evidence. Yes, they
it's
would take it
evidence.
away.
This movie, like, I think some of that stuff, I mean, now looking at it, I'm like, man, that's terrible writing right there. Wes
There's some
Craven.
plot holes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need we need the pitch meeting guy to kind of go in there and start breaking this down, and because like there are probably points where you're like, okay, because I'm not gonna lie, Wes Craven's not the strongest writer. It's
No, and I mean, like, yeah, he's not.
generally speaking, he gets other people to write his scripts.
Right, which is better, because if you look at that movie, My Soul to Take, that he did, which I tried to love and I wanted to love it more, I just couldn't do it, and he's not the greatest writer. So
I laughed when they actually did do the prayer in People Under the Stairs.
God,
yeah, actually had the My Soul to Take, prayer or whatever, and I was laughing because I was like thinking, oh, that reminds me of that shitty movie he did, which could have been so much better, but like he needed somebody like Kevin Williamson to write it, and him direct it, like, I mean, or what was that airplane movie he did? Red Eye.
Oh, Red Eye? I love Red Eye.
That was Red Eye was okay, but it wasn't near.
Okay, so I take that back. I love the performances in Red Eye because that movie is just all Rachel McAdams and Cillian Murphy. So that's what I love about that movie. It's not necessarily the story. It's just the two of them the entire time.
Right.
It's like a master class in acting, but that's another topic. So
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I guess we got off the story. I mean, there's so much going on, so I can't even. I don't even think we should go through the whole story because we'll just talk about like a lot of amazing scenes in the movie. So we meet Alice, and did you know AJ Langer, the girl who plays Alice, is now like a queen or something? She's a countess.
Yeah, she married royalty.
Yeah, good for her.
Yeah, good for her. She never has to work a day in her life again. Good for her.
If she doesn't want to, a lot of them want to. They don't want to just, us stupid Americans. We want to continue to go back out and do our passions, But she has acted since she married royalty. She married royalty in 2005, and she was in private practice for a few episodes, for like 14 episodes, and then she was in the show Kristen's Christmas Past, but she was not the lead. I don't think she was Kristen, but she was in I guess I'm gonna go out on a limb and say it's a Lifetime movie, but
yeah, made for TV type of thing. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Lifetime or Hallmark or one of those movies. But anywho, she's there. She doesn't do much anymore, but I remember her from, there's a movie called Arcade that I absolutely love, and she had a small part in that, or whatever, and that's where I remember her from, So when she
Yeah.
popped up again, I was like, oh, that's sweet. And it was her first movie.
Yeah, which is kind of crazy because she's very good in this. Like, my favorite part actually is when she's the mom's at the door and basically she's about to shoot the two people, and then you got like the horde of like, people from the neighborhood come up behind her, and she's like, what are you going to do, shoot all of us? And then she drops from the ceiling and basically just bashes the mom's head into the floorboards. Like,
Yep.
I don't know, that scene always stuck out in my mind with her because I was just like, it's a great oh shit moment. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you the last time you saw her, she was in, like, I guess they were looking around the kitchen for her, and she was in that one like area above the cabinets or something, like,
Cabinets. Yeah.
yeah. So she was, which was pretty cool. Like, I don't know how these people figure out, because you saw like Fool coming out of a fucking uh cabinets. You see, I'm like, they can fit in these fucking little small, I mean, these cabinets. I'm like, damn, it must be
Right.
big cabinets or something. I don't know. It was funny. Um,
Yeah.
but then yeah, so I love that scene. I love her jumping down and bashing. But then later, it almost like, what I was kind of sad about was like, like all Fool wanted to do was get her out of there. He didn't care, whatever else. She could have just took off right
Oh my God,
into
so
the
many
crowd
times.
so
So
many
many
times,
times.
but she stuck around. And so she gave me anxiety throughout the whole time, because even though I had seen it years ago, I don't remember a lot of stuff, like I just, I don't, I haven't seen it enough where it's like edged in my brain or anything. So I'm like going, oh my God, is the mom going to kill her right now? And then,
Yeah. And I think part of her hesitation to leave the house is because she's been like so abused like since like childhood. So I could see like why she wouldn't, but at the same time, it's so annoying. You have so many outs, just like go, but
just get out of here, like,
out. Come on.
my other pet peeve, and that happens a lot, and it happens a lot in this movie actually, it's too much talking when, like, there's a one part where uh Fool has like the shotgun, and and the man is there right in front of him, and he says something to him and then doesn't shoot. I forgot
Yeah.
what his line was, but he says something to him, and the guy just jumps out of the way and pushes him down. And I'm like, motherfucker, if you just fucking, if he, it would have been an awesome scene too, had he, the guy opens up the door and then bam, just gets blown,
Blown to
by
bits.
the, well, not blown to bits, but just like shot, or whatever.
Right. No, that's
Um,
what I meant by blown to bits. Yeah, not
yeah.
not
Well, he was later blown to bits, but
he was.
I think so. I don't know. It made it look weird. It made it look like he, flew through the house. So like, I was wondering if he like, was gonna pop up at the end, like all like on fire or something, and try to attack everybody.
Yeah.
Like that would probably be what like would happen now. Just
Now, yeah.
because you have to like always 100% like uh get the audience to like be on their toes or whatever. Um,
Oh, for sure.
but anyway, so it's an interesting thought that this movie was made in 91, right before, I think 93 was Wes Craven's New Nightmare, and
Mm-hmm.
then he did Vampire in Brooklyn.
Also a great movie.
Well,
Ish.
a lot of people hate it,
Yeah.
and a lot of people say that was like that almost killed the horror genre. You know,
I mean, I could see that as
um,
well. I don't
I,
know. Personally, I enjoyed it.
a lot of people love that movie. But so yeah, so then you're Vampire in Brooklyn in 95, and I don't think he was like wanting to do Scream. Like at first he didn't want to do Scream, he wanted to get away from horror because his last one
That
didn't do so well.
right. Yeah, there
So
was that thing that said that he. Yeah, I remember him an interview him saying that he wanted to move away from it. That he turned it down a lot of times too. Scream.
mhm.
But,
Yep. Freaking what's her name? his assistant had to keep, who was actually a big name now, but is the co-creator of Vampire Diaries. So with Kevin Williamson.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, so she was his assistant, and she kept telling him, "You need to take a meeting with Kevin, and you need to do this, or whatever." And she was also the one who talked Kevin Williamson into doing Vampire Diaries, which he originally didn't want to do.
Yeah.
Because he didn't want to do Twilight, which understandable. Yeah. Anywho, back to People Under Stairs. People. So it was interesting that this was sort of one of, because he had done Shocker in the 80s. He had done, I think, Swamp Thing. Bunch of different horror films that were. I mean, Shocker was not that serious. It had some hokiness to it. It's funny. I remember a few years ago when I watched this last time, I was watching it with my brother, and we had tried to watch Shocker, and we both could not get into it, And
I've heard kind of like people couldn't get into it, or whatever, not negative things, that people were just like, oh, I didn't like the movie. So I'd heard that so much that I haven't even watched it or tried to watch it, just because I've heard the same thing from everybody, including you now. So
yeah, well, I still want to watch it at some point and just see it, because even if I don't like it, I can at least say I've seen it. So I'm probably going to do it for like 80s horror films at some point. Sure. Maybe I'll have you back on for that, and you can finally watch it too and say you've seen it, if anybody, because maybe it's better than I just remember watching a few of it going, okay, this is ridiculous. Like this, but that's the kind of movie it is. It's not, People Under Stairs is ridiculous, but it's utterly fun. Like there's just, but it is absolutely ridiculous, isn't it? Like this movie is bonkers.
It's beyond bonkers. I mean, there's, it's like, I don't know. It's like we were talking about earlier. There's no room to breathe in it, but it's like it's such an assault on your senses that like sometimes you don't have time to like comprehend like what was happening in the movie. You're like, oh, did I really just watch that? And then you're like, oh wait, but now they're like, there's someone like popping up, like trying to drag the mom under the stairs. Oh wait, there's someone like biting her like ankle. Like, oh my God, there's another guy coming out of the, you know what I mean? So it's like there's constantly something happening. So
I do love like the people under the stairs kind of come at the end, and they swarm what is it, the woman and the mother and everything, mama or mommy and whatever you want to call her, because she had no real name. She did call him something. He called him like Eldonson or something, or Eldon, something weird. But they were like trying to they all like swarmed her, and I guess killed her at the end, and everything, and she died, and then he gets blown up, and it's like such a happy thing. I mean,
I think they get what they deserve in the end. I think that's a pretty good, like, the audience just kind of like, finally they got what they deserve. Like, stick it to them, so.
Well, I mean, who like was the audience really? I mean, obviously the audience is rooting for Fool,
Oh yeah.
But Fool kind of annoyed me, like, because he does the stuff that I wouldn't do, like he's a hero, right. He's like a true definition of a hero, because he not only does he like actually go back into the house.
Well, that's the thing too, is like I kind of like at that part where he gets away, that is like the one thing. It's like, you want to go back? Why the fuck would you go back? Like, stay away.
And he went back to get her out. I mean, he was a definition of a hero. He's trying to free everybody.
John Moody, that's a very empathetic hero though, because I would have stayed away.
You felt nothing like that. You were not like, nope, I can't do it.
No, I'm like, forget that. I'm sorry. She's done.
I mean, and that's the thing. That's what most people would do, right? Like, Fool won't. He even said something, because like uh the sister, was reading his tarot cards and was like, I see a lot of bad stuff happening to you. Don't go back there. And
Yeah.
he even says like, I can't help it. Like I feel like if I don't do something, nothing will ever get done. And I mean, just imagine, Marvel has that what if, like, what if Fool didn't go back? He
What
just,
would happen? Yeah.
what would have happened? I mean, I guess the mother and father would just keep going on. They keep collecting kids. They keep going and doing the stuff that they were doing.
Murdering
And
more people. Yeah.
I mean, I guess, it came to that point where the people stood up, for the community stood up, and we're like, we don't like you. But like at that point it's already too late, like, or whatever. I mean, you know if they had just done that, I, like the girl wouldn't have gotten out ever. There
No.
wouldn't have been no, because they were so damn good at hiding everybody that the cops couldn't find them.
No. 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 No.
There is that scene where the cops did see the room, and they still had a good excuse for it. Like,
Yeah. They were like they were so good at like deferring away from everything.
yeah. So everybody, all the cops literally thought there was whatever. And I just, whatever happened to the man, I forgot his name. He was the helper. Do you have the one that said he would get the take the money, Grandpa Booker, I guess is. Oh my god, that was Bill Cobbs. Okay, I've seen
Yeah.
him in a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
He's in like Demolition Man and tons of other movies. All right. Um, but he was so good when they like, when he knocked on the door, it was like, this is the police. They
Yeah.
were like,
Yeah. And then he like stops and he like pushes his way in and yeah.
pushes the way in. It was like, look, you're gonna have to listen to us. Blah blah blah. Whatever happened to him? Because he did kind of go inside with the sister into the house, and then
They do, and it doesn't really. Yeah, I don't know if it doesn't really tie up that loose end. Yeah, I don't know.
well, like, whatever happened to him? Did he like just leave the house or something? Because he's not at the end or anything with everybody there watching the house get blown up. I don't think. If I'm if
I
I'm
would.
correct.
Yeah, I would think he would have gotten out, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's never touched on. So
Yeah, it was funny because I was watching the movie and there's so much going on. So when the woman is being attacked by all the people, all the swarms, I'm like, whatever happened to the man? Is he still down in the basement? And he was, but like, I was like, or did he get killed? Did I miss it? They're like, I blink and like something, right? But thankfully, no, he was literally down there dealing with Fool while they were up there, trying to get. But that scene was most badass scene I've ever seen in a movie.
that's
When
so
all the people are coming out of the cabinets and all the ground and everything, they're just coming up and they're swarming the woman, and I'm just like, that is amazing. I love that scene.
yeah.
Were you saying something?
No, I was just like, yeah, I'm thinking about it. Like, yeah, when it happens, like initially when she has like the daughter like on the stairs, and then like the like is about to stab her, and then like there's like the punch through the stairwell, and then yeah, they're like coming out like all one by one or whatever. So funny. She's like, "Don't touch me," and it's like, "No, you're gonna get it."
Yeah, like yeah. And then she comes after the girl,
Yeah.
because she says like, you hurt mama.
Yeah. Right.
I'm like thinking she did more than that, bitch.
She sure did.
She's like, you hurt mama, and then she runs at her with the knife, and or what? No, she says, you're not my real mama.
Oh,
And then she was,
yeah, you're not my remote, right? Because that's
because
like a
like the boy
reveal.
said it to her, and she's like, well, you're burn in hell, which is like their, I guess, I almost felt like that was the tagline of the fucking movie because that said so much. It's like,
It
you
is,
know,
yeah.
it's almost like, was it fucking Halloween, the new Halloween movie with Evil Dies Tonight. You know,
Oh yeah,
after a while
yeah.
you get sick of hearing it. You're like, stop. Like,
Like someone, yeah, it's like please. And then with like it's like there were so many like crosses and religious artifacts around that house. It's like we get it. Burn in
we get
hell.
it.
We
You're a Christian who loves your brother way too much, and
get it. Way too
um,
much.
you
What is
know,
this? Flowers in the attic? It's just people under the stairs. Is this a sequel to Flowers in the Attic? I feel it.
maybe,
Yeah.
maybe that's where the idea in a way, because like, isn't that like, wasn't that the thing, is flowers in the attic, like somebody was stuck in the attic or something like
Yeah,
that.
it was about a brother and sister who were like stuck in the attic, and basically like their crazy mom was like wouldn't let them come down. And
This
there's
is a
like
sequel.
maybe I think so. I think it's finally like once they kill the mom, and then now they're like they're in the house now, and that's like the brother and sister have a kid or what, I don't know. Yeah.
They
Like
steal kids and then put them in
they
under the stairs.
put them under the stairs as opposed to in the attic. Yeah.
Yeah. So the next movie will be I don't know, something else below, even below her. Like, you know,
Yeah,
flowers in the
exactly.
attic, people under the stairs,
People under the stairs.
giraffes in the basement,
Perhaps I was gonna say, yeah, like in the basement. Yeah.
something in the basement. I don't know. We have to keep going lower and lower.
Lower and lower and lower until yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, that's how sequels are these days, anyway. Um,
True.
but I don't know. This was such a wackadoodle weird fucking movie, and kind of made you like, I know, like I felt so much anxiety watching this movie. Like, I never thought a movie could like get me all like worked up like that at times. Like the dog chasing him all the time. I'm like, oh my god, is the dog gonna get them? Like, are they gonna hurt the dog? And they do.
Yeah, and
Uh,
it is anxiety inducing, and also because like what you were saying about the writing earlier, there's just some lines in there that are anxiety inducing too. It's like, oh my god. I wrote one of them down that Ving Rhames says actually before they go in the house. It might be my favorite line in the entire movie. He goes, maybe the president is going to make me secretary of pussy. Like that move, that line right there, I don't know why, but that's one of the funniest things I've ever heard in my entire life, and it's so out of left field. It's like, why is this here? Like,
I feel like Ving Rhames like ad libbed that, because
he
I don't see Wes Craven
what's
writing
craving
that.
wrote it.
I just don't see him writing that. Like, I don't see him like typing on his little computer, 2C Apple computer or whatever at the time, and saying, maybe the president will, make me secretary of pussy. Like, I just don't see him doing that. Like, I don't
We'll
know.
never know.
He's
Probably.
sadly, we will never know unless somebody actually like Ving Rhames might be able to tell us. He's still around. Maybe he can, he's still doing Mission Impossible movies, apparently. Just look
Yes.
that up. I was
Let
like,
me
good
give him a
God.
call. I'll let you know.
He's doing he's continuing to work, and that's a fantastic thing,
Yeah.
I love him in Pulp Fiction, you know.
Oh, that's a great movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So every
That was
time
the
I
most
see him, I think of Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, I mean, I like him in like most of the stuff he's done. Yeah, I don't know. I recently watched him and uh wait, was no, I'm sorry. That what did I watch him in recently where I was like it's like he was really good in that. Ugh, again, okay, I'm having a senior moment with my brain, but um anyway, so yeah, no, I don't think he would have maybe he wouldn't have said that. Who knows? I don't know. But that's my favorite line in the movie.
Right. No. Yeah. So, um, I he's one of those actors that I like every time I see him, all I can think of is Pulp Fiction though. Like so you know how many so many actors you can just think of like one movie
Oh, for
specifically, even
sure.
if you've seen like a million movies with them, you're still like, oh man. And that kind of sucks because like one of the scenes in Pulp Fiction is the rape scene, which is not what I think of. I think of him from like him talking to Bruce Willis and shit, or whatever, giving him that lecture.
Right.
That's the main thing I think of when it's like you remember in the fifth your ass goes down or whatever.
Yeah. I have to rewatch that movie too because I haven't seen that one in a while. That's another good one, but
Tarantino, and I'm not gonna lie, like I love Tarantino. I think he's amazing, but
yeah.
unless I'm watching it with somebody, if I'm watching a Tarantino film alone, I cannot get past like the first hour. Like after that, I just can't watch the rest of the movie. I tried watching Django Unchained. I love it, but it's just after like an hour and a half, and it's like a 2.5 hour long movie or whatever.
It's
I
a
just
long.
kind of get, kind of like, okay, like I'm kind of getting tired. I'm, moving on, like I don't
Yeah.
know. It's weird. I feel like that's the problem with films these days is they're getting too long.
They're
And
so long. Oh my God. I
yeah,
watched I have yet to watch, like I really want to. I want to watch the new Dune movie, but at the same time I'm just like it's almost 3 hours. I'm gonna have to like hunker down. That's gonna be one that I'm really gonna have to like be in the right headspace to watch, But anyway, back to People Under the Stairs. um
yeah, definitely.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, so it was one of those things where yeah, so that movie was just, I mean, People Understand just had so much craziness to it and everything that at the end of the day, like there's just too much to talk about,
It
like
it's a lot to talk about. Yeah,
you
I know.
can
I don't know. You could go on with this like this podcast for like 2 hours, and there's like always there's something
there's
else that you could
something
talk
you could
about.
bring up. But we are almost at the end of our hour. So
Yeah.
let's sort of kind of wrap it up. Like, is this something like, so you said you picked this movie because you really enjoyed it before and you'd rent it, with your friends and stuff and watch it.
Yeah.
How many times have you think you've seen it?
So I actually thought about this. I think maybe collectively we would have watched this movie like at least more than 10 times because sometimes I would watch it on my own too. So I mean like I watched it a lot, but then I didn't really watch it again for like years and years and like I had to go revisit it, but like at least more than 10, I would say. I mean, I
Oh,
loved this film as a kid. This one, I don't know, just really, 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 I guess because it is so batshit crazy, that was like the appeal. You know,
right.
that was like what it was like. And I liked, I liked some of the like there isn't a lot of gore in it, but like some of the effects with like, the flesh and like I think like the way that they did the makeup with on the kids under the stairs and stuff like that was like cool too. Um I don't know, yeah, and I think because it was starring a kid, maybe I identified with it more. You know,
Right. Because
so
as when in 91, we were kids,
sure.
watching this movie. And we were, or I wasn't watching this movie when I was a kid. Now that I know like all about it and everything, I wish I watched it as a kid, but I don't know, maybe I would have been terrified of it because like there are some certain scenes where the people under the stairs grabbing them and stuff that would have terrified me as a kid because I would have thought about me being there, as a kid, and like if something was grabbing me like that, I'd be terrified.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it's like there are terrifying moments in it. I remember like there were moments that we would laugh like out of like to break the tension because like this movie does have scary moments in it, I think, So I remember that. I remember laughing at it a lot, but it wasn't laughter that was like because we thought it was funny. It's probably laughter that was like nerve inducing, you know what I mean?
Right. Like
Um,
you don't know if you should be laughing or not, kind of thing. Maybe. I don't know. I like when I was watching, I was just like, I was laughing because there were certain things that were sort of designed to be funny, in it.
Oh, sure.
Wes Craven did have a good sense of humor, with things. I mean, you laughed at the Secretary of Pussy line,
Secretary of Pussy line. Yeah.
and it's funny because I don't even think that was meant to be funny. I
No.
think that was meant to be like, this is what this guy thinks of himself, or whatever. Um, but it was so funny because the funniest thing too is Fool talked for the audience for a while, right? There's that one point where he's just like, oh fuck this, right? Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna like leave. And then he goes back because he remembers them telling him like I guess you're too chicken shit for this job, that kind of thing. So he has to have a little bit of his pride, and he's got to be like the tough kid. And I mean, he becomes an even tougher kid, he finds some of those coins, some of those gold coins, and he still goes back, to be the hero and to,
Right.
you know, none of us would do that,
No.
I remember I was talking to uh my my former roommate, and we were going around in LA, and we were talking about like would you do this to save somebody's life or something, like would you do this, would you do that? And I forgot what it was exactly. Like there was something like, would you jump off the building in order to risk somebody, to save somebody, something like that. And honestly, my thought was like, fuck no. Like, like, because like, what good am I to like everybody else in the world if I saved one person's life? And now this is why I'm not like destined to be a hero. A hero risks his life in order to save other people. These are superheroes or whatever too. Like these are people that are amazing in the world, and that's exactly what this kid is. He's the exact opposite of what we are. We're
Yeah.
not, we wouldn't go back in there. We would just be like, okay, well, she's fucked, but I mean, can't worry about her.
Yeah, that crazy bitch. Yeah.
What are they gonna do when she got to be like in her 20s or 30s? Like they can't keep her like that, like as an adult.
Yeah.
Once she got to be at a better age, do they set her free or do they kill her? Like I was wondering what they would do.
Maybe, or maybe she would rebel and kill them. I don't know, or attempt to. Who knows? Like,
But we'll never get that idea because Fool had to go back and kill them, just to make sure they were dead or whatever,
yeah, but I do want to see that what if episode though. Now you've got that in my brain, and I'm kind of like, I need that.
idea in your head. Well, maybe tonight you'll go to sleep and you'll have a dream about the what if of that's your alternate, dimension, the watcher is taking care of you on that.
Right.
you know
People on the stairs. Yeah.
the people under the stairs giving you that glimpse of what it would have been like if Wes Craven went with, because I now I'm like wondering if he had like alternate, takes on it. You know what I mean? You ever like watch a movie and you're like thinking, I wonder if the writer, like, what if the writer did this instead of that? Like,
All the time. Yeah.
like what if the writer, what if Wes Craven decided, okay, well, he's not going to go in there because the problem is it was only an hour, like 10 minutes,
Yeah.
they had still had 30 minutes left. And I was like, Jesus, usually it's about 20 minutes left. They had 30 minutes left to like wrap everything up and it go into the third act, which was set up to be to be the showdown, and everything and stuff. So, you know, it was actually also very smart how he did it too, because there was that line where they were like, they had all cops investigating because he set that up. And later when they kicked all the cops out finally and they were alone, they're like, I wonder about the back door, because I couldn't guard it the whole time. I wonder if anybody snuck in. And I think they knew he snuck in somehow or whatever, or knew that if he was going to, that's how he would have got in, you know.
Right.
They weren't dumb at all either.
No.
You know, they were very smart. Um, so fool's no fool, and neither are those people, and that's what makes it sort of the Home Alone thing. Where
Yeah.
ah,
I think it's interesting too, really quickly, like with the tarot cards at the beginning, uh, they nicknamed him Fool, and she flips over the Fool card, which it was just this was a thought I had in my head. I was like, well, the in tarot, like the Fool is represented by the astrological sign of Pisces, which I'm like, well, was Fool of Pisces? Like, I don't know, maybe he was. Like,
I don't know, maybe. I don't know if that was why. I mean, was that?
no,
I,
that wasn't
I
why at
wasn't.
all.
Why was why did she like? You know, I guess she couldn't call him Death. I mean, what other tarot card is there that represents a person?
No, nothing really, I don't think. Maybe
Yeah.
like other ones, like maybe the Empress or the Hierophant or whatever. That doesn't fit as well. Like Fool, if you're like looking at it, because I mean, like tentatively he is kind of a fool because he's going into this situation, like, you know, but
He shouldn't have been there to begin with,
right.
because he's just a fucking kid. Shouldn't be robbing, you know, these these adults, and especially once he noticed how how much security they had for that house, like bars on the windows, and everything was like very secure. Like, at that point you can't, you shouldn't rob it. There was that movie, I never watched it, but they made the sequel to it and it got a lot of flack, the sequel, but that one where they break into the blind man's house, and then
Oh
um
yeah, Don't Breathe.
Don't
Yes.
Breathe.
Yeah.
And that was sort of like this, I guess, in a way, without people under stairs or whatever. But like, the idea of breaking into somebody's house and then all of a sudden you're trying to fight for your life to get out. I wonder
Yeah.
how much of Don't Breathe was a little inspired by this movie. Um, you
I
know,
would say, like, I watched Don't Breathe, and I liked it, but there was I liked it up to a point because there was like there was some ridiculous shit that happened to it towards the end, but like the initial like setup was very much like People on the Stairs. It was I would think it would be heavily inspired by it because yeah, it was kind of the same plot, different like different aspects of like characters and whatever, but like very same setup for
there
sure.
you go. So there you go. It probably was. I mean, a lot of films are inspired by other films without actually being like a sequel or a reboot of it or whatever. Um, I remember hearing that Wes Craven before his death was thinking about doing a TV series of People Under Stairs. You know, um, I thought
Yeah.
that would have been cool, but like I almost feel like this movie shouldn't be touched, because I just feel like doing anything else to it, either rebooting it, or like or even doing a sequel, just would just sort of kind of lessen what has already been done, for it. Like, it's already a
Yeah,
pretty damn good movie.
it is, and I don't think it should be touched. I think like there's certain movies that definitely shouldn't be touched. Like there are a lot of reboots that came out that like I don't know. It's just like rebooting, rehashing. It's like where are the original ideas? Maybe we don't have any more left. Who knows? Like it's just
Well, I
it's
mean, it's easier for Hollywood to say, this movie, like People Under Stairs has a following, let's reboot it, than, taking something original and not knowing whether or not it's going to do good,
yeah, because it's all about money. It's more about money now than it ever has been. So like I get it, but like at the same time.
Oh yeah, no, it's a like absolutely all 100% about pre-awareness. And when this movie was made, there was nothing like it, you know.
No.
So it goes to show you that if you do make something like this that's original, not like this as in like this movie, but make an original film that maybe it will do good. But I don't know how well it did in the box office or whatever. I just always remember, do you remember going to Movie Scene, the video store? I used to work there too.
Oh
And
yeah, you know where I worked? I worked at Movie Time.
movie
Which
Movie time. Yeah, that
It
was.
was right behind the 7-Eleven.
That's right, over by like right down the street from the bowling alley, right?
It was down the street from the bowling alley, and yeah, I remember you working at movie scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would work at movie scene, and I would always see like people on their stairs as a D or a VHS, copy of it or whatever, and just never watched it until like years later, or whatever. But I'd always see that they had some really good cover art, which is another thing that I feel like is lacking these days, because like cover
Yeah.
art is more like the same generic shit these days, and it's kind of frustrating, but you know, it
It
is
is
what it
true.
is.
So yeah, some of these posters nowadays are just like garbage. I don't know.
Yeah, but
It's problematic.
right. Well, I mean, what can you do? I mean, all I'm happy about is when I see a lot of my friends who make independent films and their poster art looks amazing, and
Oh,
gives like good
100%.
throwbacks to the original stuff. So there you go.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Matt. This is awesome. I really appreciate you coming out here and doing this with us for 90s horror films. And we'll definitely have you back for next season for sure. And we'll do another 90s horror film that you probably really enjoy, or maybe one you haven't seen. Who knows?
Why don't we just do Urban Legend? Because I have a lot to say about that movie. No, I'm kidding.
Okay, let's plan for that, because I don't have anybody signed up for that, but that'll like I didn't want to do that this year because later I
Yeah,
want to do Scream, and
sure.
for the finale,
Yes.
so yeah. So I definitely want to do Urban Legend. I want to do Valentine. I want to
Yeah.
do all the faculty and all the stuff like that. So we'll definitely have you back for Urban Legend, because yeah, Urban Legend is one of my sort of ones I my go-to movies that I love to kind of used to love to watch. I don't know. I need to buy there's a really good I think Scream Factory or somebody
They
put it
they
out.
released like a Blu-ray with like a lot of extras and stuff
Yeah,
on it, for sure.
I'll have to get that before we do our show next year, because then I can next
Yeah.
season, and whatnot. But thank you so much, and everybody else, thank you guys for listening. Join us next week for From Dusk Till Dawn, which will be a little fun. Once again, one of those sort of at that time period, sort of like post Scream kind of things, or whatever movies that Dimension was doing. But thank you so much, and hope everybody enjoys this. Bye.